Hey everyone, I wanted to just do a quick video. There's been a few people that have asked me how I managed to take care of my Alcantara wheel or my Fanatec wheels. So I wanted to do a video and just show you my process and how I go about doing it. So the first thing is you basically need just a few tools, like a microfiber cloth. A soft microfiber cloth's always good. I usually wet it and just add a bit of a light amount of soap. Not too much because you don't want it to be too soapy. So really the idea is that you want to be able to, dampen the Alcantara just so that it has a bit of moisture to it. And the idea is that you're going to start manipulating the Alcantara in one direction, and it just makes it easier to work with and to get it to kind of renew or rejuvenate that Alcantara. So what I usually use a suede brush. Just a really soft suede brush like this. And basically what you want to do is you want to start manipulating the Alcantara, moving it all in one direction. So usually, I'll just brush it constantly in one direction just to start getting almost like the little hairs to move all in the same flow. And then basically what you do is just kind of go in the opposite direction, just keep working it going down. So if you're working consistently in one direction, the idea is just keep working it until you start to see the pattern of all the texture moving in the same direction, and then just reverse it and work in the opposite. Usually what I like to do is then use a soft toothbrush, and these CuraProx ones are really good. They're quite soft bristles, so I'll just usually go in, especially in the harder to reach areas, I'll just go in and kind of move all in the same direction. So the idea is to keep always moving in the same direction and never go back and forth. So you'll see I try to just kind of brush all in one direction, then brush back. So the idea is just to keep moving in the same direction. Then from there, I just repeat again on the opposite side, and you'll start to see kind of everything coming back, and this wheel hasn't been really worked too much, so it's a bit easier to kind of bring that texture back. And then if you have any areas where you see imprints from your fingers, that's when I use the toothbrush and I constantly work it. And then usually I'll just take a can of air and I'll just spray around all the buttons, and then I'll use the same CuraProx brush. And that CuraProx brush will just kind of get into all the little nooks and crannies and get any dust, because dust is a massive killer for electronics or for any wheels and things like that. So this has the advanced Podium module. So I'll use the brush on the Podium module and then just give it a nice little wipe down. Make sure you don't have any oils from your hands or anything like that. And especially around the quick release, that's where you want to make sure there's no dust accumulation in there. So I always use this air can in and out around the edge. And so when we work, with a wheel that's older, like this here wheel, the Universal Xbox Hub with the GT wheel is quite older and it's got a lot more use. So this one, I'll dampen the cloth even more, and I'll add, a little bit more moisture to it, and then just obviously doing the brush in the same direction and working the same pattern always. The thing with Alcantara is you need to not rub back and forth. It needs to be always going in one direction. So just be consistent with that. Getting a little bit more moisture in these older wheels, ones that have been used or seasoned or weathered, I guess you could say, is always better to help, bring that life back into the Alcantara. So you can't really, bring it back from like almost where there's no life to it at all. There is definitely hope to bring that back. It's just a matter of being, consistent, being persistent, and working on bringing that texture out. Some might take a little longer than others, but usually with a little bit of care, you can get it. Now, the thing is with a newer wheel, like this wheel, I barely had it for more than 2 or 3 months. You want to be a little lighter. So I'm not going to go as aggressive. So it's basically going to be just maintenance right now. So you can see I don't have any fingerprints or any kind of, it's not been worked too much. So I want to make sure that I'm not being too aggressive with it. So just going really, really lightly with the same tools. And then obviously the same thing with Podium module is just getting in there and giving it a good cleanup, giving it a good proper maintenance every, I usually do it every couple of weeks. And this way it'll help keep everything in pristine condition and keep, get a longer shelf life out of your product. If you let it go too long, it's just definitely not going to be good in the long run. Especially around the buttons, that's where I kind of take a little bit more care, use the air can and get in there and just get as much of the dust out as possible. So I hope that helped you. Give you any quick tips on keeping these things looking good for a long time. And yeah, so we'll see you again soon. Take care.
Bye.